Imagine an island, vibrant and green, transformed into a landscape of despair. Imagine a people, known for their warmth and spirit, brought to their knees by a relentless hunger. This was Ireland in the grip of the Great Famine, a tragedy so profound it etched itself onto the very soul of the nation. From 1845 to 1842, a darkness descended upon the Emerald Isle, a period of unimaginable suffering that would forever alter the course of Irish history. To understand the devastation, one must understand the potato. This humble root, introduced to Ireland in the 16th century, had become the lifeblood of the rural poor. It was a nutritional powerhouse, easy to grow even in the harshest conditions. On this single crop, a nation depended. Families, large and small, relied on the potato for their very survival. It was their sustenance, their security, their link to the land. In the autumn of 1845, a silent invader arrived on the shores of Ireland, the potato blight. A mysterious disease, carried on the wind from the Americas, it swept across the island with terrifying speed. The blight, a fungus-like organism, attacked the potato plants, turning their leaves black and their precious tubers into a rotting mush. What was once a symbol of sustenance became a harbinger of death. The once abundant fields of Ireland, bursting with life and promise, transformed into landscapes of despair. The stench of rotting potatoes filled the air, a constant reminder of the impending doom. Entire harvests were wiped out, leaving families with nothing but empty stomachs and shattered hopes. The blight returned year after year, tightening its grip on the beleaguered island. A people starved, hunger's grip tightens. Hunger, that cruelest of afflictions, stalked the land. People were reduced to scavenging for scraps, eating grass and weeds in a desperate attempt to survive. Malnutrition ravaged the population, leaving them vulnerable to diseases like typhus, dysentery, and cholera. The once familiar sights of laughter and life faded, replaced by the hollow eyes and skeletal frames of a starving people. Exodus, fleeing a land of sorrow. Faced with unimaginable suffering and death, millions of Irish men, women, and children made the agonizing decision to flee their homeland. They embarked on perilous journeys across the Atlantic, seeking refuge and a new beginning in distant lands like America, Canada, and Australia. Many perished at sea, victims of disease, starvation, or the unforgiving waves. Those who survived faced new challenges in unfamiliar territories, forever marked by the trauma of their exodus. A distant empire. Britain's inadequate response. Across the Irish Sea, the British government, Ireland's ruler, responded to the unfolding tragedy with a mix of indifference and incompetence. While charitable organizations and individuals stepped in to provide aid, the government's relief efforts were often inadequate, misguided, or driven by a callous disregard for Irish lives. The prevailing laissez-faire economic policies of the time hindered effective intervention, deepening the sense of resentment and abandonment felt by the Irish people. Scars on the soul. The famine's enduring legacy. The Great Famine, also known as the Irish Potato Famine, was a period of mass starvation, disease, and emigration in Ireland between 1845 and 1852. It was a catastrophe that left deep and lasting scars on the Irish nation. The Great Famine left an indelible scar on the Irish psyche. The failure of the potato crop, which was the staple food for the majority of the population, led to widespread hunger and desperation. Families were torn apart, communities were decimated, and the very fabric of Irish society was forever changed. It decimated the population, with over 1 million people succumbing to starvation and disease. The death toll was staggering, and the suffering was immense. Relief efforts were often inadequate and sometimes mismanaged, leading to further hardship for those already struggling to survive. Millions more were forced to emigrate, forever altering the demographic landscape of the island. The exodus of Irish people to countries like the United States, Canada, and Australia created a global Irish diaspora. These emigrants carried with them the memories of the famine, and their experiences shaped the communities they joined. The famine intensified anti-British sentiment, fueling Irish nationalism and the fight for independence. The perceived failure of the British government to adequately address the crisis led to a growing sense of injustice and resentment. This period of suffering and struggle became a rallying point for those seeking to break free from British rule. It also had a profound impact on Irish culture, inspiring countless works of literature, music, and art that reflected the pain, resilience, and enduring spirit of the Irish people. The stories of the famine were passed down through generations, becoming an integral part of Ireland's cultural heritage. The legacy of the famine is still felt today, as the Irish continue to honor the memory of those who suffered and persevered during one of the darkest periods in their history. Beyond the Emerald Shores, the Irish Diaspora, a story of resilience, survival, and cultural preservation. The Great Famine, which struck Ireland in the mid-19th century, scattered the Irish people across the globe, creating a vast and influential diaspora. Starvation and disease forced millions to leave their homeland in search of a better life. From the shores of America, where they arrived in droves, often through Ellis Island, they settled in bustling cities like New York and Boston, forming tight-knit communities. To the outback of Australia, where they sought fortune during the gold rush and established roots in the rugged landscape. Irish immigrants carried with them their traditions, their language, and their indomitable spirit. They celebrated St. Patrick's Day with fervor, kept the Irish language alive through schools, and passed down their rich musical heritage. They contributed significantly to their adopted countries, enriching their cultures with Irish music, dance, and literature. In America, they worked in factories, built railroads, and became an integral part of the labor force, economies, and societies. In Australia, they played a crucial role in the development of the nation, from agriculture to politics. The Irish diaspora became a powerful force in global affairs, advocating for Irish independence and supporting movements back home. They organized rallies, raised funds, and kept the spirit of Irish nationalism alive, and keeping the memory of the Great Hunger alive. Through commemorations and gatherings, they honored the victims of the famine and ensured that the tragic history was never forgotten. A time of reckoning. Remembering the Great Hunger. The Great Hunger, also known as the Irish Potato Famine, was a period of mass starvation, disease, and emigration in Ireland between 1845 and 1852. It was a time when the very fabric of Irish society was torn apart, leaving scars that are still felt today. The Irish Potato Famine stands as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the devastating consequences of poverty, inequality, and political indifference. The failure of the potato crop, which was the staple food for the majority of the population, led to widespread hunger and death. The British government's inadequate response exacerbated the crisis, highlighting the deep-seated issues of colonial rule and neglect. It is a story of resilience, of a people who endured unimaginable suffering, yet emerged from the ashes with their spirit unbroken. Many Irish emigrated to America and other parts of the world, seeking a new life and opportunities. Despite the hardships, they carried with them their rich cultural heritage and traditions, contributing significantly to the societies they joined. Today, as we remember the victims of this horrific tragedy, let us honor their memory by fighting for a world free from hunger, injustice, and the indifference that allowed such suffering to occur. The lessons of the Great Hunger remind us of the importance of compassion, solidarity, and proactive measures in addressing global hunger and poverty. By working together, we can ensure that such a catastrophe never happens again, and that every person has the right to food, dignity, and a future filled with hope. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Stay tuned for more discoveries that shaped our world.